Mm. Did we lose me or did we lose Nancy?
You were frozen for a minute and you were like, okay, welcome everyone. It is Money Talk Tuesday, and I am here with my virtual CFO, Megan Dahle. She could be your virtual CFO too. So I think this is a great topic today, Megan, because when do you add a product or service, right? Whether you are a coach, a consultant, or an interior designer, it is running rampant. I'm watching this frenetic pace of, well, should I be doing what everyone else is doing, right? Should I have a course that I'm teaching people how to do things, or should I add an e-design product, or should I add this and that when everyone's watching everyone else? And it's a good question. Like, when do you know that you should add another product or service to your service model, to your ladder of services?
Yeah, that FOMO is real. It's real. You see other people that appear to do really, really well with like, oh, they're doing this other thing. Maybe I should just go do this other thing over here. Maybe I should do this over here. Maybe I should do this over here.
Yeah, I think the biggest laugh I ever got in one of my sessions was I was like, somebody wanted to create a course. And I'm like, just so you know, if you think every course I've ever written is successful, no. Like, I've written courses and wasted so much time and like crickets. And part of the reason,
I don't know if it's me or if it's you. Okay.
if what's me or you, are we frozen?
Freezing. I don't know if it's me or you.
Oh, I'm seeing both of us not freeze, so I'm not sure
Okay.
what people are seeing. So if anyone can tell us if we're freezing or if we're moving, that would be great. Products often fail, or service models often fail, if you don't have a large enough following yet that are asking you for new things, right? So I'm going to add to the list we created for this conversation that when do you add a product or service could be something you want to wait till you grow your following a little bit more, right? Because often you're creating service model after service model or product after product, but you haven't grown your following or your email list enough for it to really be successful.
Right.
So
there's spaghetti throwing, right? Like there's throwing spaghetti at the wall, but there's throwing spaghetti and the wall doesn't even exist yet.
yeah, I created courses in the beginning when I first became a coach, and this works for interior designers too, because when you try to create new things, you need to have people to sell it to, right? So if you don't have a following yet, that's why when I coach people, it's always like, grow your friends list on Facebook, grow your Instagram, get a following, start interacting, start getting relationships, because then you have people to sell to. It's not as easy as I'm going to create this product, put a Facebook ad behind it or a Google ad, and suddenly I'm going to make tons of money. Just doesn't happen that way, right? So when do they decide to add a product? I put number one, look at what you're doing already and don't add a product until every product or service you offer is being offered well and being well received.
There's a huge value in pruning, right? Like if you have a huge menu of services, it might be that those ones that you just can't get to work, prune them out, make space for the things that are working. It's running smoothly like a machine, and you don't have to worry about those little nagging things that you just can't quite get there.
Yes.
And then once those are gone, oh, whew, you have things that are working and you have room for experimenting with a new product or service.
Right. I have people all the time, well, should I be adding e-design? I'm like, okay, maybe, but what out of your live design, what's working? Like, is your consult nailed down? Is your process nailed down for getting people on your calendar, getting a consult, your welcome packet, making a great presentation so that a client talks to you over and over again? Same with a coach or a consultant. That initial phone call. What do you do on that initial phone call? Is your process hammered down? Don't just keep adding more things thinking it's going to be appealing until you hammer down the current process you have. And then you can say, okay, now I'm ready I can possibly add another product. But number two is when you're being asked is a great time to add another product, right? So I'm
Yeah.
currently being asked by some of my more seasoned clients to do a quarterly something with them, and I'm developing that because 2 or 3 people have now asked me to do that, and I'm getting some enthusiasm. So same with, again, this applies to whether you're an interior designer, a coach, or a consultant. If you're growing your following and then you're being asked to do certain things consistently, that could be a sign that it's time to add a product or a service that you currently don't offer.
That pent-up demand can be really powerful. One, it's pre-validating, right? Like validating a product is one of the hardest steps, like getting somebody to get their credit card out and give you money. And I'm not saying like having somebody tell you like, oh, that's a great idea. And then say, oh, do you want? Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
When they give you money, the idea is validated. And so if
Correct.
they're asking to give you money, please, Nancy, take my money, might be time to add
Exactly.
a product.
Exactly. It's time to create a new service or a new product, right? So I'm in the process of creating a 12 module body language course. I'm a body language trainer, but I had not been asked that often, like to create it. But now I'm being asked, like, I'm waiting for your body language course. I'm like, oh, okay, let me start developing that body language course because now I know there's pent up demand. Because one, I've grown my following. Two, I've ensured the current products that I'm offering my process is clean and it's working well, and I have satisfied clients. And now three, there's pent up demand for another thing that I don't offer. So now it's time to develop that. So no matter what you do, if you look at those 3 steps alone, but then you added another one, which I think was really valid. If something you're currently offering never gets purchased, there is no interest, and no matter how much you keep trying to push it out into the world because you don't want to give up on a passion product that you thought everyone would love. And then crickets.
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 Right? So then you have to ask yourself, am I not marketing it properly to the people who actually think they want it and need it? Or did I do all that and it's really just not something that people want?
You named the puppy, right? Like you can't give up a puppy after you name it.
It's hard to.
It's hard to. And that does go back to validating of that's so important first step. So when people are like, should I start offering, products along with my design services? It depends.
Right.
Are
Right.
people
Well, in
asking?
that case, that's a little different too, right? So if you're talking about possibly a designer who charges for design time and intellectual property, and they're trying to decide whether they add product to what they're deliverable to a client, right? Do they actually source the product for the client? You can make a lot of money doing that, right? So yeah, if you are ready to start opening up accounts or using organizations that help you open up accounts or have access to resources that can help you provide to clients, I go back to that. Are they asking for you to do that? Is it something you can offer and you think people will actually purchase? If the answer is yes, did I freeze again on you?
Yeah.
See, you froze on me, but I didn't know whether I'm freezing or not. Can you guys hear us? Can somebody tell us? I can go look. I can go refresh. I'm not sure I'll be able to tell though if we're freezing. Okay, I know there are people watching. Can you say hi to us and tell us if we're freezing every other sentence or not? Okay, so let's summarize, right? When do you add a product or service? I have one, when you're already loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you. When you are already providing products and services that you are doing well, they're being well received, and you feel like you have your process down pat, right? That's one. Number 2 is when you're being asked, like, do you do this? And it's something you're capable of doing, and you're being asked consistently, you're losing out on an opportunity for income if you're not then going to create a service model that matches. And then number 3 was yours, like, is the current product you're offering working, or do you need to go and kill the puppy behind the barn? You didn't say it.
Wow. Wow. That's harsh.
Yeah, that was a little harsh. I got to keep everybody awake. So, and I added at the beginning, it could be time to add products when you have a larger enough following that what you offer can be extended
Mhm.
to more audiences, more options, right?
It's interesting. I was in a group this week that I was talking to a guy who does um jazz music type things, and he has built his following for 5 years. 5 years. He's had a YouTube channel, he's had his email list that he grew and grew and grew. He's never monetized, never made an offer to it. He made like a $7 offer, and everybody was just jumping all over it. He had all of that pent up demand, so it was really cool. But he went out there to express his creativity in the first place, and it was never meant. But that power of the audience is massive.
Yes, the power that, don't worry, Kim, I'm not killing any puppies. I was just seeing if anybody was awake. So thank you for responding to that. Hi, Farah. Hi, Kim. Hi, Heather. So I feel like a lot of people are jumping on I need to offer a product that is residual income right now. Like, let me just add stuff. And that's another whole subject, because I always say, should I have an online store on my website? Like, to me, you have to weigh the work it takes to maintain your shop and the money you have to pay to get someone to maintain your shop with, are you going to make enough money? And that goes back to the first three we mentioned, right? Are you currently doing what you do well? Do you have pent up demand? And are the current products you're offering working or not, right? Before you have those answers, don't just be throwing more products up on your site just for the fun of it and just because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, you're going to create some chaos, and it's going to be painful.
Yeah, yeah. And it is painful. Trust
Why
me,
don't
I've
I
done
have
it.
any time?
Why don't I have any time? And then you put your heart and soul into a whole product or course or new website, and then boom, it fails. And then you're like feeling like a loser, right? Never feel like a loser. You just pivot and morph and change. But we're giving you some steps before you just decide to throw a new product or service. Follow those instructions that we went over. If you're watching late, go back to analyze whether it's time for you. And if you need help, that's what I am here for. And Megan's really good at analyzing the financial side of it. Should you be doing this?
Let's play defense.
That's right. Before you spend money and put time into something, figure out in advance what the model would look like. How much money do you need to invest in it? How much time? How long would it take you to get it back under different scenarios?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope this stops somebody today from just throwing up a new product without actually analyzing whether it would be good for your business. Someone just said this comes at a good time. Farah. Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, Megan, thank you so much. And I will see you next week.
My pleasure. We'll see you, Nancy.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great day.